want your game to automatically end when Piggy leaves? Have you ever wanted to recreate the manager system from work at a pizza place? Today, I'm going to be showing you how to build a leave detector in Piggy build mode. So this here is my fast food roleplay map. And one of the great things about it is that I have a manager system, just like work at a pizza place. So once you enter the manager's office, you can see that there's a gavel right here, and we can just go up to this prompt trigger, and you can see become manager requires mallet. We're gonna hit E, and now you can see there's a message at the top that says Ernie C3 is now the manager. But for now, let's test this with our alt account, because when our alt account goes and becomes the manager, you can see that he's back there right now. We're gonna see what happens when he leaves the game. So, I got my alt account right here. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the game and watch what happens on my screen. The manager role is now available. You can see that the gavel respawns and we're able to become a manager again, or anyone in my map. But how did we make something like this? To have this system work best, I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make something special. It's called a power holder. First, you're gonna need yourself an AND gate and a link hub, and you're gonna do something pretty cool. You're gonna take the link hub, put it into the AND, but you're also going to take the AND gate and put it into the link hub. Both of these wires are being directly crossed into each other. And what that's gonna do is, when you go ahead and grab some sort of power source, for example, like a button, and you hook it up to your link hub here, and then you start the game, check out what happens. My button is going to not last long. It's only gonna last 1 second. See, the power here is off, but as you can see, this stays on. This is a power holder. When it's activated, it holds that power. But it's not just also holding power, it's also holding your player data. The data of whoever activated this. Now this power holder will stay on forever. However, if you do want to have the ability to reset it, you're going to place a NOT gate down, and then you're also going to place a modifier gate on top of that. Set the modifier gate to its only setting, connect it down here to the NOT gate, connect the NOT gate down to the AND gate. And now we're going to add our reset button, and we're going to hook that up to the modifier gate. So essentially how this works is we're going to set off this button. It's going to activate our power holder that's going to remember our player data, remember who pressed that button. Now, if we want to reset this power holder so it goes back to normal, we can hit our reset button, and that's going to reset it back into place. Now, you can use this power holder system for a lot of things in build mode, but what does that mean for our leaving system? Now, normally what you would do if you wanted to detect if the player Piggy left the game is you would take a touch trigger, you'd place it over here, NPCs on, players off, infected on, and stay on forever after touching. Connect that touch trigger to a dialog block announcing that Piggy's left the game, and also connect it to an escape block that's set to escaping all players. When the Piggy player leaves the game, it automatically spawns in a bot, so it's going to detect that bot and automatically restart the game. But the question is, how do we detect if a specific player has left the game? Now, normally what you would end up doing is one specific player would go into a certain area, it would only detect survivors, and the touch trigger would stay on permanently forever. Keep that in mind. The core way that a leave system works in build mode is based on items. You can see that my player here has picked up an item, and now when I go inside of this touch trigger, that is, it's basically this if gate's gonna be detecting if I have a specific item. For example, the apple. So you can see that when he goes in the touch trigger, the if gate is turned on, it detects that this player has an apple. But what's really cool is that when I leave the game, you can see that this will shut back off. So the way that the leave detector works is based on whether or not you have a certain item. Now I do want to preface this by saying that in the future, we may get a new option in here that will just be like, is in server. That will actually detect if someone's left the game or not. So if that's the case, if you see something like that in a future update, you won't have to use this item system that I'm using. But this is how it works. But we do have an issue here, and the issue is this touch trigger. Remember how I said to keep in mind, stay on forever after touching? Well, just like with the manager system, we want to be able to have it where there's multiple managers in a map that's constantly running. But if this touch trigger is set off by only one person, that's never gonna work. So why don't we just replace the button with a touch trigger and use this system? And this simple little setup right here is exactly how I did it. We basically replaced the NOT gate with an if gate. So here's how you build it. First, we're gonna have an item dispenser here that is basically set to whatever item you want. For me, I chose the mallet, and keep it set to 1 at a time. Next, you're gonna have a prompt trigger, and this is basically what we're gonna be using to initiate this system. So we can go here, we can say become the manager, requires insert item here. You can see all the settings are inside of here as well. And now for our setup. This first if gate is gonna check to see if you actually have the item. So you can see, there it is, just insert whatever item you have here. Then we got a link hub, an AND gate, an if gate on top of that, an info block, a NOT gate, a timer, and another info block. This if gate right here is also going to be set to check whatever item that you have it set to. The timer is going to be set to 0.5 seconds. The info block down here is going to be using a text command, display name. And it's basically just going to announce that someone has been chosen. And the info block up here is basically going to just announce that the position is now open again. And now for the linking. We're going to take this prompt trigger, connect it to this if gate. If gate's going to go into the link hub. Now keep in mind, the link hub's going to go into the AND gate, and the AND gate's going to go back into the link hub. The link hub is also going to go into this if gate and the lower info block. This if gate's going to go into the AND gate and into the NOT gate. The NOT gate's going to go into the timer, and this timer's going to go into both the info block and it's going to go into the item dispenser. So let's see what these links look like in action. So you can see that we got our links here, and we got our alt account here. So we're going to pick up the hammer, and once we become the manager, you can see that the links change. The power holder got enabled. This if gate is detecting that the hammer is in their possession, and the reset stuff has been turned off. Now watch what happens when our manager leaves the game. The links get reset back to normal, and the item becomes available again, and it announces that the position is open too. I was even talking about all this on my birthday stream as well. I'm going to go into free cam so you guys can actively see the links power on. So let me get my alt account inside the manager office real quick, and my alt account is going to become the manager now. Let's watch what happens with the links when my alt account becomes the manager. 3, 2, 1, and there it is. And message was displayed. Ernie C30 is now the manager. So you'll notice the power holder is remembering who activated it. So it's remembering who the manager is, and because this link hub is connected to this if gate, it's constantly running a check to see if the person who activated this power holder, whose data is saved, is using the mallet. Now, don't worry, you don't have to have the mallet held out as long as it's in your inventory. That's all that matters. And you can see that this if gate, because it is enabled, it keeps this NOT gate off. Pretty good, right? Now let's watch what happens when the manager leaves the game. So let's watch what happens and see. You ready? And there it is. Because it no longer detects the mallet, this gets re-enabled, which re-enables the info block that says the manager position is now available, which reactivates this. Like, is that cool or what? Leave a comment telling me what you're gonna use this leave detector for in your map. I post content on the latest Piggy updates and tech on build mode just like this. So if you wanna see more of that in your feed, make sure you subscribe.